From sunny Southern California, this is the Executive Housekeeper 101 from HousekeepingRehab.com. Here now is your Executive Housekeeper, Abel Josephson.
Okay, I'm going to talk about scheduling. Now, this is really intended for somebody who has never scheduled a housekeeping department before. Not only for your guest, which is the priority, but also for the department, and then also for the employees. They are all equally as important when it comes to scheduling. The understanding of compliance to schedule, the understanding to the expectations of schedule, they all begin where? At the application process, where you explain to the potential employee what is expected. And keep this in mind. Part of what we pay an employee for is to comply and adhere to scheduling standards. Always remember that during the application process, it's a great time as you explain to them what you expect to read to them at certain aspects or certain sections of the employee handbook. It's very important that they understand they're being paid to clock in, clock out on time, and that it's very important. It's one of the most important and essential aspects of the housekeeping operation. Scheduling. Be here when we need you. All employees are scheduled according to the business needs of the hotel. That is job one. That is priority one. Now we're going to take care of the employees. Everybody has special needs. They have family issues. They have all kind of reasons why they can be or cannot be on property to work at your hotel or resort. Every aspect and detail of your scheduling needs to be in writing in a notebook, a standard operating procedure notebook. So at any time, if you need to review with an employee what the priorities are, you can just bring the notebook out and read to them what is expected. We have a standard operating procedure department. We do not have a verbal he said, she said, oh, is that what you meant? We don't have one of these kind of departments. We don't have a, hey, don't forget. Hey, you know, when they come down the hall, hey, don't forget, we do this, or you need to do that. It's all in writing. And it's not 16,000 things they have to sign off on. It's a finite number, just the operational procedures, and they get used to them because they do these same procedures every single day as they operate in your housekeeping department. Something to notice and mention is that at the application process, before I will hire anybody, they have to agree that they can work any of the 7 days a week, any of the holidays. There are no protected golden calves in the department. All right, so somebody says, well, I have church and family meetings and this, that, and the other on Sundays, and I can't work on Sundays, can't work in my department. You just can't. I can't give you that. If I give you that, I have to give everybody that option. And that option will not allow us to succeed as a department. And let me go back to this. There are no golden calves. Well, I've been here for 9 years, and so now I have priority and I have seniority. Ugh. So I get my days off and nobody calls me on those days off, and I always get those days off. Oh, no, you don't. If I give that to you, I have to give that to everybody. And remember, everybody wants fair. So we'll give them fair. And fair is everybody operates by the same expectations, the same standard operating procedures, the same guidelines, the same employee handbook. Everybody is equal on that front. Hey, look, I'm a manager. I'm still an employee. I have to come on time. I have to dress right. I have to have the right uniform. I have to adhere to all the company policies. I'm no different than them. So it's this way from the top all the way down to the bottom. It's really tough. I know if you come into a department and they have one of these golden calves that has been there a long time and they're sort of ruling the roost, you got to get rid of the golden calves. All golden calves. For any reason that they are a golden calf, that must be stopped. Well, it's been like this. You know, the last manager, he or she let me do this all the time. I don't care. I'm not that manager. They're gone. Now we're going to do it this way. We're going to do it by the book so that everybody's doing it by the book. And it's a good book to read because it's the book, it's the standard operating procedure that's going to make you and me a success. And we're only a success if we satisfy the business needs of the hotel. We're only a success if we satisfy the expectations of the guest. Sit everybody down individually, personally, one-on-one, and review with them the employee handbook and all the standards, and then find out what schedule would really best suit their life and lifestyle off property. Doesn't hurt anything. It's not a verbal contract. It doesn't matter what they say. You're just on a fact-finding mission to find out where they're at. It's good to care and know about what their personal life and scheduling needs are. Sometimes you can meet those requirements that the employee has, and they're happy for it, and it doesn't bother the department at all. Sometimes it's not like that at all. But find out, know your people, care, interview them one by one, and find out what schedule would work for them. And do that and get everybody interviewed. Then sit down and put those days off preferences that they have, put them on a schedule and see what it looks like. Remember, it's very important that you understand what days of the week are your peak days. Every resort or hotel property has certain peak days, certain peak seasons, certain peak holidays. Usually for most hotels, Saturday and Sunday are some of the biggest days. Sunday's a big checkout day. Everybody's leaving because they're back to work, back to their town or city where they come from. They're back there on Monday, so everybody checks out on Sunday. Thursday, Fridays, even Saturdays sometime can be big check-in days, arrival days. You need to know this, and everyone in the department needs to understand these are peak periods, and on those days, every single person in the department is going to be on staff. Everybody can expect to work weekends. And then when we don't need as many people, if they get off or they have a request, we don't need them, fine. But you better find out where your peak business needs are and make sure your staff, being fair to them, make sure they understand and know what those days are. Okay, now let's talk about special needs that your employees probably have. You know, everybody's got needs. In my departments, I would put out a notebook with a request off sheet for each schedule week of the year. It's very important that the request off be documented and put into your scheduling file. You must document and file all schedules, all requests, verification that you allowed for holidays, and these sort of things. You got to have a record of what you did and how you did it. Keep very good documentation, keep very good records on your scheduling. There's a lot of reasons why later you're going to have to go back 3 or 4 weeks and find out, did somebody work on that day? Maybe you've got a security issue. Whose key went into that door? Well, it was this person. Well, let's find out if they were even on the schedule that day. Okay, my schedule started on Saturday at most resorts I worked at. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday was the work week. So I put out a notebook that had the request off sheet on there, and I pulled that request off sheet every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. My schedules went up on Thursday, and the schedule began on Saturday. Now, why is that important? First of all, between Tuesday afternoon at 5 o'clock, and I mean I pulled that request off sheet, and if you didn't get your request in for the next schedule week, you did not get a requested day off. End of story. It doesn't matter what your sad sack story is or your excuses. We pay you to comply with our regulations. And the regulation is, if you got a request, it has to go in there by 5 o'clock on Tuesday. And I mean at 5 o'clock, snatch. I pulled that sheet of paper out of that notebook and took it into my office for scheduling. All right, so I have after 5 o'clock Tuesday until Thursday, close of day or midday. I think usually I put them up on, was it midday? I put them up midday. So that gave me basically Tuesday evening, all day Wednesday, and in the morning on Thursday to put the schedule together, and you should always put it together. I think that's going to work, and then set it aside for a few hours and pick it up the next day maybe. Give it a time to think, and then come back and look at it with fresh eyes. It gives you a day and a half to massage the schedule because you want to try to get the requested day off for that employee and that employee. And so when you made your schedule, you looked at who requested off. You go to the next schedule sheet, your Excel spreadsheet. Oh, sorry, just bit my cheek. You go to your Excel spreadsheet, and the first thing you do is take those people off the schedule as they requested. Then you fill those days with all the employees that you have. And that way you could see, hey, look, this is great. I have enough employees, the arrivals and the departures work out. I don't need them, fine, they get those days off. But if you put those employees as off on those days, and then as you fill in with the other employees, you look at your arrivals, departures, your business and hotel business trends or business needs for that day, you discover, hey, no, they cannot have off. I must have them. No problem. I've got a day and a half. I can go to them and say, look, you scheduled or you requested to be scheduled off next Wednesday. I cannot do Wednesday. We've got 95 departures. We've got 110 arrivals. It's a total flop, a total switch that day, right? In and out, everybody. Hey, I can give you a Tuesday. I can give you a Thursday. I can't give you Wednesday, what can we do? And a lot of times you find out that, oh, no, I can do Thursday. Actually, that works better for me. Or, oh, Tuesday's fine. Yeah, I just need a day and I picked Wednesday, but if you say Tuesday, that'll work. First, try to see if you can give them the day off. If you can, fine. If you cannot, then you work to find maybe the day before, maybe the day after, you kind of massage it and work with them. If it's not gonna work out, they must have that day. It's just gonna be tough. Then somebody says, well, they'll just call off. Well, it's a call off, isn't it? And that works against their attendance record as they fully comply with our regulations. And we gave them every opportunity to work with the schedule. And it turns out how it turns out. If they call off, hey, they called off. Most of the time you're gonna find out you can work something out. And always try to work something out according to the standard operating procedures. Request off sheet, scheduling, attendance, punctuality, all of these things kept in mind. It's always good to keep peace in your department. Yes, we keep peace, but not to the sacrifice of standard operating procedures. All right, so now, when you go to your computer and you start taking your Excel spreadsheet and start creating your schedule for the next week, you want to have an Excel spreadsheet set up. Now, I don't have time to teach you how to run Excel. You're going to have to go to your comptroller, your GM, or your friends on the worldwide devil web on YouTube to teach you how to do that. My schedules allowed me to just simply go to the schedule and put in the arrivals and departures for each day of the schedule week. And then I had a calculation, or I had a formula in there that would take those departures, how many rooms I had to clean, occupied and vacant. It knew that I had a productivity factor of 0.615 or 35 minutes per room for cleaning. It knew exactly how many rooms I had, and it calculated how many employees I would need, how many staff members I would need to clean all of those rooms, keeping them in 13 rooms per day. And then it would just show at the bottom, you need nine people, 9 ladies in rooms, ladies and gentlemen, or you need 6 people, or you need 5 people. Now keep in mind, if I don't need employees because business levels are low, they're gonna get more than 2 days off. They're going to lose time. We schedule according to the business needs of the hotel, right? Now, those calculations for Excel, they saved me countless hours of scheduling time. Told me exactly how many I needed. I just filled it in, and then I would figure out, well, how many days have they worked since their last day off? I don't want to get you into 6, 7, 8, 9. That just ain't right. Don't do that to people. So the calculations on my spreadsheet as I worked my schedules allowed me the opportunity to have the scheduling sheet tell me exactly how many people I needed. Okay, so learn to use Excel spreadsheets and have it calculate things for you. Have it go in there on each column or each day and calculate the hours that you're using. I worked at one hotel. I had to report to them my expenses by 5 o'clock each day on, supplies and scheduling or employees or staffing hours. I had to know exactly where I was to the minute, to the dime. Excel spreadsheets, learn to use that tool. Okay, here's another thing. No staff swapping. You will have a big old problem if you regularly let staff members switch their schedules around. Hey, I want off Thursday because I'm going to see a show on Friday night and I'll be so hungover on Friday, I won't be able to work. Can you switch with me? And the other guy says, yeah. And then Friday morning, guess what? The guy that says, yeah, didn't show up. Ay, ay, ay. And if that happens, who's responsible? The person that switched with them because it was their schedule. So there's no swapping. Any changes in schedule must be involved with the department manager there and both employees that want to switch. First of all, I don't really allow it. It's got to be a special deal, but I want both of them there. So I hear both of them agree. And then I make the schedule change. And then they sign a thing that says I'm switching schedule and I will be there on Friday. That way there's no messing around. And no surprises. Oh, dear God, no surprises in your department on scheduling. Well, he said he would be there. We were going to switch, and he didn't show. What? And the other one says, we never switched. We talked about it, but I didn't agree. I mean, no surprises. On my schedule, I would have certain notations. I never put that you were off. That's definitive. I would put on call. In other words, we don't plan to have you there that day, but if we need you, we may call you in. If somebody called off, I put a little line through the on-call, their day off, and I wrote CO, called off, because I need that documentation. If they were a no-show, I write N/S, no-show. I document everything on the schedule, and that schedule goes into the file. So if I need to look back 3, 4, 5 weeks ago, I can tell you who was there, why they were there, or why they were not there. They called off or they no-showed. Keep copies of your weekly schedules for at least a year. I've never found that any more than a year was necessary. That would take care of all legal needs and HR needs and these things. But keep your documentation. Scheduling is like uniforms. There's some other things you could throw into this category, but especially scheduling and uniforms. Full compliance with absolutely no variation. You comply or you don't. You come into full compliance, there's no tardiness whatsoever. And when you have a record of that, you know, when it comes time for a little fluctuation or allowance or variance to the schedule or punctuality or attendance, okay. But when you come to work and we're surprised that you're on time, you got a problem. Now, when you come to work and you're late and we're surprised, you don't have a problem. Full compliance means on those days when there's a wreck on the freeway, when there's just I'm sorry, I just overslept, but you have a trend and a track record where you are always on time, punched in uniform, then we have something we can fluctuate off of. But we don't start your, employee attendance record with constantly late, constantly leaving early, wanting to leave early, calling off and all that stuff. Oh no, we come into full compliance. Then every now and then we have something we can understand and we fluctuate. Now, let me say this. It doesn't matter if it's legit or not legit. Every single variance to the schedule is documented in writing. I mean, every single time, this one or that guy over there, that lady, every time they're late, beyond the allowed parameters of what is considered tardy. Most companies have, 6 minutes before the hour, 6 minutes after the hour, or 3 before, 3 after. As long as you're in that tolerance field, fine. But if you go 9 minutes late, 10 minutes late, we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation about it. When? Every single time. No, we're just going to have documentation. It goes in your writing or your folder for written warnings or verbal warnings or whatever. We're going to document it. Yes, does that mean you're going to fire me after I'm late 3 times? No, not at all. But come the day when you've just abused the privilege of a little bit of understanding and variance and fluctuation just because life kind of sometimes goes that way, once you abuse that, it's over for you. But it might not be over till you have 6 or 7 of these documentations. I don't care about how many write-ups you get. I don't really care. I just want progress, and I'm going to document it every single time. You know who has problems? People that don't document. And then when they realize this guy's late twice a week all the time, well, now they've got to start from scratch. They got to get the first write-up, then the second write-up. Well, if you've got one that's got that much loosey-goosey going on with their schedule, trust me, you've got more than that person, and you lose the argument. Well, they're late too, and he was late, and he didn't show, and he kept his job. That's why you document in writing every single time you have these issues with staffing or scheduling. And I guarantee you, if you inspect what you expect, your staff will respect what you inspect, and they will know you expect it. And when you expect it, you know what? It's a beautiful thing. They begin to respect it and expect it. They feel good. It calms them down and brings a certain amount of peace in their work environment because they know what the expectation is, and they know I'm there. I am complying. I don't have to worry about, I was late. I wonder what's going to happen with that. No, they understand how it all works. Inspect what you expect. Okay, here's another thing. It is the employee's responsibility to check that schedule every single day of their life. That schedule can change on Thursday for Friday, and it's not your job to go around and tell every employee, don't forget, check the schedule because I change you tomorrow. No, that's backwards. We're not babysitters. We pay you to punch in on time, to sign in and out on time. We pay you to work according to the productivity factors of this program. And it is your responsibility. If the next day you're on that schedule and you were previously off and you don't show, that's on you, pal. That's not on us. We're not babysitters. The schedule's put up. That is our communication device. We have already communicated with you via the schedule. That piece of paper on that wall, oh God, you better respect it and watch it, because it can change and it's on you. Once you get that kind of program going, you're not gonna have any problems. And if you do and it's a surprise, okay, well, that's different. But to have constantly having to chase people around and have conversations about, no, check the schedule every day. Full compliance. We are not babysitters. We are an employer. Big difference. Big difference. Sign-in sheet. Yep. You put a sign-in sheet. They punch in and then they sign in. And here's the sticker. That sign-in needs to be to the minute. If they punched in at 8:03 a.m., they better pay attention and they better write that down on the sign-in sheet. And you make them sign in to the minute what's on that clock so that there's an accuracy and an accountability. And if your state requires that they get a 10-minute break every 2 hours and a 30-minute break every 4 hours, then they are not in compliance if they go 1 minute past that 4 hours for their break, because that puts the employer in jeopardy when they are righteously and honestly providing that lunch period for them. That stuff can come and bite you. If you don't have them sign for those breaks, and then there's some sort of employment issue, and then they come back, you know, with the labor board or something, say, they forced me to work through all my breaks. You got your sign in. But that's not the big thing. The big thing is not so we can catch employees and prevent us from being, you know, harmed legally. The big thing about the sign-in sheet is this. If your time clock goes down, you might be the only department that brings all of your documentation to the accurate minute to the time clock office or to the human resources or the comptroller and say, no problem, the time clock went out. I have all of my employees signed in and out to the minute, because I enforce that to the minute and I inspect if they're doing that or not. So you just sit down and enter in all your staffing hours, boom, you're done, and you watch. Front desk could be like, oh no, they'd be going around to departments. Did you work Tuesday, and when did you punch out? When did you punch for lunch? Blah, 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 blah. Or they just go in there and give them 8 hours every day. Well, in housekeeping, not everybody works the full hours because of business needs, these things. You have your documentation. You don't trust that time clock. It can go down like that and you not even know it. It can be down for 2 or 3 days and nobody knows it. Even though it's punching, it's not collecting the data. Have them sign in and out. You get it. All right, here's another thing. Cross-training. I cross-trained. All the housekeepers knew how to be a houseman. All the housekeepers knew how to work in the laundry. I made sure they did, and that they worked down there every once in a while. All the housemen know how to clean guest rooms. All the housemen know how to work in the laundry. Supervisors know how to do all these jobs. Why is this important? Because if you're short-staffed, you can have somebody over here that's only working 4 days a week that wants a full 40-hour week. Hey, I had a houseman call off. Can you come in today? They'd be like, yeah, let me get the hours. They'll come in and be housemen. You have to make sure that if a housekeeper works as a houseman, that those hours for that housekeeper are paid out of the houseman budget. If the houseman works in the laundry one day, you must pay that houseman out of the laundry budget. And all these accruals for your comptroller and the P&L must be, all these expenses must be accrued to the right expense line. If you don't, you're gonna be over budget on housekeepers, because 4 days this month, you had housekeepers in the laundry, but you paid them as housekeepers and not as laundry attendants. Very important that you know where they work. When they sign in, they write rooms, or they sign in and they write laundry, or they sign in and they write houseman. And you give that information to your comptroller, so all your expense lines on your staffing can be accrued to the proper P&L expense line. Keep your stuff in check, keep your money right. Same thing, heads up. If you went over budget in housekeeping and you realize, oh, I have 16 training hours I haven't used this quarter. Hey man, take those 2 hours in rooms, or those 2 days in rooms that are gonna throw you out of budget, throw them into training. Somebody says, well, that's not really right, it's not training. Hey, it's budgeted money. Move it to where you need to move it to keep you in budget. And you've got those training hours and you're fully staffed and you haven't hired anybody in 7 months. You've probably got 3 weeks of hours there. Use it. or lose it. Be smart. Okay, here's the final note. Every time you finish a schedule, you print out your hourly punches from your electronic digital time clock, and you match that up. It takes time, might take half a day, might take all day, depending on the size of your property. But you're gonna look at this person, and you're gonna see what time they punched, and you're gonna look over here in the sign-in sheet. You're gonna make sure that they were even signed in. You cross-reference your sign-in sheets with your digital time clock. And you make sure that if they're on the digital time clock, you make sure they were signed in. Inspect what you expect. Your staff will respect what you inspect. And work with your people. Work with them. Do what you can to massage a schedule. But remember, the schedule is in control of the department. The department is not in control of the schedule. We've come into full compliance with all expectations on scheduling, punctuality, and attendance. Then maybe on the odd chance we have issues and problems and things that are out of the blue, then we have something that it makes sense we waver off on. But if you live a life in your department where people are late all the time, coming and going, no calls, no shows, you don't have any documentation, it's out of control. Ooh, I don't know how you're gonna make it as a department head in the housekeeping world. Okay, so there you go. Basic understanding and fundamentals of scheduling and documentation and budgeting according to schedule, according to your profits and loss statement, P&L. Got to know all that stuff. Got to know your money, where you get it, where it comes from, and where it needs to go so you can run a successful department. There's your scheduling. Okay, your shift is over now. Go sign out and punch out.
The hotel and hospitality industry is a type of entertainment and a form of show business. Thanks for visiting the Executive Housekeeper 101 with Abel Josephson from HousekeepingRehab.com.